Chief Nwanyanwu, the question will be, legally speaking, if you look at all of this issue, what can you make of it? The Senate has described it as a treasonable action. Is it really?
Yes, I must say, Shehu, thank you for having me on this program. I have been dumbfounded since morning when this action took place in the National Assembly. It is not only a treasonable felony, it's a coup d'etat against an arm of government. And I can tell you that they are on a test run. That's why all well-meaning patriots, all well-meaning Nigerians who loves democracy must condemn in its entirety what took place today in the Senate. They can try it in the executive. We must nip it in the bud, and we must deal with this situation summarily so that no anti-democratic force or forces can come out tomorrow with an intent of truncating democracy, which we fought for. Most of them today who are in different houses and in different executive positions, we are not there. Then I was in the trade union. When colleagues and comrades joined to fight for this democracy, we sent the military back to the barracks. We cannot allow such characters who are benefiting from what they did not sow to destroy this democracy. And that's why I must tell you, it is good that the police arrested the culprit. I hope this is a real and genuine arrest, and the necessary things should be taken. It is condemnable. It cannot be explained. This is a coup d'etat against democracy, and this is also treason.
All right, quickly, Mr. Nwanyanwu, the myth around the maize, what can the National Assembly not do without the maize? Is it that the maize, is it enshrined, the myth around is a symbol of authority, is the presence of the maize enshrined in the Constitution, the maize being out of the chamber? What does this mean for sitting and perhaps a decision being made on the floor?
Well, the maize is one of the most important symbols inherited from the British democratic tradition. The maize in the British system represents the monarch. It represents the authority of the monarch sitting in the parliament. It has no legal basis in Nigeria because the post-independence constitution did not talk about the maize. But the maize has come as a tradition that we have inherited, amongst others, from the British to represent the authority of the house, whereby it is held that whenever the maize is standing in the house is sitting, and you cannot pass law nor the house sit without the maize. But it is also arguable that it is not true that the house cannot sit without the maize. But we have inherited most of these things from the British system. And it has remained with us since 1960. So that is why it has become almost part of our, do I call it laws? Because we have been practicing it since democracy. It is an inheritance from the British. It's one of the most important symbols we inherited from the British parliamentary tradition.
All right, we'll take a short break. My panel is still there. Senator Orohide will be telling us whether or not the Senate brought this upon itself, the kind of reaction that we're seeing upon the suspension of Senator Homa Agege. We get some more perspective to this. Don't go anywhere, anyone. The conversation just got started.
Well, very distinguished colleagues, I'd like to welcome everybody back. And for the interest of Nigerians and the entire world, let me quickly announce that at about 11:30 a.m. this morning, some thugs invaded the hallowed chambers of the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Let me say that this Senate will deal with it fully. For today, in accordance with our mandate to represent the people of Nigeria, we sit here and we exhaust everything on our other papers. So I just want to appeal for patience, even if it means sitting here until 6 p.m. today. We'll deal with everything on other papers, and let me assure Nigerians that we refuse to be intimidated by anybody because we're elected to do this work. I want to appeal that those behind this should not take our democracy for granted. And we're going to do everything humanly possible to ensure that this will never happen again in this parliament. So once I welcome everybody back, and let us get into the business of the day. Stay leader.
Let me allow Chief Nwanyanwu to come in here. Chief Nwanyanwu, what do you think is the implication of what has happened today for our democracy? One, quickly, because we're running out of time, and the big question will be the politics around the National Assembly these days. From an outsider point of view, what do you think are the implications of the ongoings in the past weeks?
Before then, I have said to you earlier that the use of the mace in proceedings in the House has no legal foundation. And I also want to disagree with the learned senior advocate who spoke during the break. And I want to say that the absence of mace during proceedings in a House is not usual, but its absence does not vitiate or prejudice the proceedings in the House. If it has no legal foundations, you cannot pursue it that they cannot or could not sit. They can sit. But these are some of the things we inherited from the British, which we cannot explain, whether we should do away with them or we can continue. But it is also good that they got another mess to sit, which allowed them to sit. If the argument was that the first mess taken violently from the Senate should be recovered, I want to posit that the mess has no NAFDAC number to say that this mess belongs to the Senate. It could well be that they have more than one mess. It could well be that they have taken the mess from the House of Representatives. So it was good that they continued. As to the implications, it is a threat to democracy. It pains us because we knew what we suffered before we drove the military back to the barracks. And most of the beneficiaries of this democracy were not on front line with us. They were not there. And that's why we must not allow them to truncate this democracy. It is a shame. It's a shame because the international community is watching. Go to the internet all over the world. They are picking what has happened. Why must Nigeria be in the news all the time for the negative reasons? Why?
All right.
I don't want to be speculative.
We must leave it at that. Chief Dan Nwanyanwu, always a pleasure having you. A lawyer and a former national chairman of the Labour Party. Senator Matthew Irohide from Edo State, a member of the PDP. Thank you for your time. A tough time for the senators and the National Assembly, obviously. But wish you the best in the coming days. That's our show for tonight, everyone. Many thanks for being part of it. I'm Sean Wakimbale. Bye-bye.